Well, how do you follow Matt Dowse? I have no idea. I have no idea. Please don't be off put by the fact that the administrator for research and innovative technology has his speeches in paper. But that's an old trial lawyer habit. Oftentimes, the electronics do strange things when you need them most. So I still trust in the power of toner and typewriter ink. At RITA, Research Innovative Technology Administration, our principal mission, and we were founded about 7 years ago as really the collaborator at the Department of Transportation. We have what many of you in your organizations recognize as silos or stovepipes, as we call them at DOT. And the problem was, we get taxpayer dollars and we are custodians of those dollars and need to make sure those dollars are spent as efficiently as possible. So the example I use is, if Federal Transit has a solar program and Federal Rail has a solar program and Federal Motor Carrier has a solar program, those are three independent initiatives that are not talking with each other, not necessarily the best use of taxpayer dollars. So we convene on a monthly basis a research and development planning team where we talk these things out and understand what's going on across the organization, and we bring transit and rail and motor carrier together and say, hey, why don't we come up with one program where we can pool our resources and task the researchers with coming up with individual deliverables that will benefit our operating administration. So that's our principal role as collaborators, and that's why I'm thrilled to be with you here at this first ever joint annual conference of the International Association of Transportation Regulators and the Airport Ground Transportation Association. And I certainly commend IATR President Dowse and AGTA Executive Director Dr. Mundy with the foresight. As they said, it's not easy to grasp a concept of bringing together organizations that work in parallel, in tandem, sometimes with overlapping missions, but to realize and understand that in this time and era of diminishing resources, that it's best to bring together the best and brightest and push for ever creative results. So since that's what RITA is about, I certainly commend you for taking this initial step. It's an important step, and it's one that certainly we at RITA appreciate, but it's one we'd like to see replicated across the transportation industry. So we can certainly talk more about RITA later, but not only do we have the research development arm, we are responsible for civilian GPS equities, and that's an important role for us where we not only work with the Air Force Space Command in ensuring that our satellite constellation delivers the conveniences for which we've all come dependent, but critically, GPS is one of the foundational technologies for international banking. A lot of folks don't understand or recognize that. And if you talk to folks on the street, they think GPS is probably a leprechaun in the iPhone. But these are signals that, as we all know, come from space and provide those critical capabilities for us all. We also have the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. Many of you rely upon those statistics, particularly the airport information and airline information and tarmac delays and those public-facing collections of data. So that's another part of the house that we have. We also work on intelligent transportation systems, as I will get into a bit in my remarks. And that's the ability of cars to utilize dedicated short-range communications and the 5.9 gigahertz spectrum to cut down on crashes, because the rate of crashes in the U.S. It really is something that needs to be a national outrage. We're at 32,367 fatalities on our roadways on an annual basis. Yes, those are record numbers that we haven't seen since the 40s, but for a country as advanced as the U.S., that is an intolerable number. Not only is it the 32,367 souls that are no longer with us, it's several billion in injuries. And if we all take truth serum, we know the survivors of accidents that deal with those lingering and sometimes life-altering injuries are what is the actual economic drain. So there's the property damage, but more importantly, there's diminished human life. So that's why it's important to get those numbers down. So intelligent transportation systems uses that communications platform so that cars know where each other are relative to each other using GPS and DSRC to communicate to cut down on crashes and collisions. There's also an aspect where roadways will be connected so that you will now, going forward, have the ability to know what road weather is. So if you're coming to an elevated roadway or a bridge and it's 38 degrees and a light mist, you might get a warning in advance that be careful, there could be black ice, as opposed to the old way of finding out, which was spiraling out of control in a 360 and damaging your car and scaring yourself quite to death. So again, that's another transformative technology that we're working on at our Intelligent Transportation Systems Joint Program Office. And we also have a world-class laboratory in Volpe called the Volpe National Transportation Systems Center, and a training center out in Oklahoma City called the Transportation Safety Institute. So it's all there on the reader.gov site for you to peruse at your leisure. So I will get into the essence of the message that we wanted to convey to you today. So first, thanks so much for the invitation. I'm very much enthused and happy to be here. I know I've got a tough act to follow, not only with Matt Dowse, but our general counsel, who's moved back into private industry. Robert Rivkin, I understand, was a previous speaker as well. So again, big shoes to fill. But I'm excited to have the opportunity to engage an audience representing the confluence of two vital elements of transportation. That's multimodal connectivity and safe, fair operation for higher transportation. So the organizations, businesses, the men and women you represent are on the leading edge of a sector undergoing growth and change at an incredible pace. And there's perhaps no better backdrop for this event than St. Louis, the historic transportation hub built at the confluence of the Missouri, Illinois, and Mississippi rivers, where the pivotal Middle Mississippi region is born. But beyond its geographic symbolism, St. Louis serves as a parable for the transformative power of innovation in transportation. The city has inextricable existential ties to the opportunities and perils of change, of rapid modernization. Whereas these ties were once defined by the steam engine, which transported goods and people with then unprecedented speed, efficiency, and scope across the continental United States, your constituents are facing a transformation defined more by what it's not than what it is. And I'm talking about information, data, in its iterations and unbound architecture. In government, in industry, in our lives, we're all grappling with the unique opportunities and challenges presented by the rapid ascent of data-driven technologies and applications. This is the next wave, the 21st century's transformative transportation innovation. However, unlike the locomotive or the steamship or aviation or the internal combustion engine, its impact is not weighted by geography or economic strata. Information is ubiquitous and nearly boundless, as Matt touched on in his remarks. For decision makers and leading researchers in the transportation community and its vested sectors, this transformation offers technical capabilities with unlimited potential to improve transportation safety and performance, to strengthen industries, spark new ones, and as a result, spur economic growth. But without a clear roadmap for anticipating, adapting to, and ultimately harnessing this change, this country, this planet may not only squander an historic opportunity, but find itself grappling with new and emerging consequences that threaten safety, mobility, and economic output. When I was invited to speak here by President Dowse, I jumped on the opportunity because you represent sectors often affected by new regulatory and statutory developments in tandem with emerging innovations in the commercial transportation market long before the systemic impacts are felt. The theme, Building Regulatory Bridges, is about strengthening existing partnerships and building new ones in an effort to find better solutions to shared problems. A perfect segue for what we're trying to do at the Research and Innovative Technology Administration. At RITA, our goal is to work with stakeholders across government, industry, and the academic community to engage in research that illuminates the best path forward when it comes to ensuring that this nation fosters transportation innovation for the better, while ensuring the pace of progress does not threaten safety or performance across all modes. When I talk about information, data, defining the next transportation era, I'm talking about the production, transmission, and processing of data in and by vehicles, infrastructure, people, and devices. Today, the commercial market has created this kind of ad hoc, interconnected transportation network. Consumers are growing more dependent on wireless or mobile applications and services. Developers are jumping on the opportunity, while public agencies and established industries grapple with the consequences, such as distracted driving, as well as potential benefits. And I know all of you in this room today are well aware that much of this is uncharted territory. For the decision makers and institutions charged with protecting the public's interest and ensuring a fair business environment, and for the businesses and entrepreneurs seeking to capitalize on innovation in an evolving marketplace. The potential for intelligent transportation systems, as I alluded to earlier, GPS, alternative fuel vehicles, wireless broadband communications, and other new and emerging technologies to make transportation better and promote economic growth is there. Regardless of the city or the community, regardless of what form these various manifestations of 21st century technology take on our roads and on our transit systems, its genetic makeup is the same. Its form and function is shaped by data. Collaborative research and the resulting data offers the ideal roadmap for best practices, standards, and other measures that focus on shared priorities, address common concerns, and acknowledge the future. Truly realizing this potential demands an approach that facilitates innovation within a greater framework for transportation safety, efficiency, economic competitiveness, and environmental sustainability at every level and in every sector. This is why it's more important than ever that thought leaders from the transportation community build bridges by working together to develop a research agenda that supports greater coordination and transparency, that reflects the diversity of interests, but never elevates them above making transportation safer and better for everyone. At RITA, our major research initiatives are all built around and are governed by three pillars of innovation: coordination, engagement, and accessibility. The Obama administration has been committed to making key federal data sets available to the public for research and development, for transparency, and at the US DOT, we're providing data resources and tools that give developers, policymakers, or anyone with a vested interest access to critical project data. We want the early adopters out there to advance new technologies and approaches in tandem with our efforts. We want public agencies and industry to have better insight into system performance and how their operation impacted. Big data is the future, and by essentially offering universal language that transcends modes, it moves the system closer to a truly intermodal network. This approach has been embraced by the Bay Area Rapid Transit's ETA initiative in San Francisco, and the results show what's possible in terms of policy outcomes, commercial innovation, and quality of life. By publishing their raw data transit feed, BART is supporting the efforts of developers to create applications and tools that utilize the data to provide unique benefits, whether for convenience, to reduce emissions, or measure neighborhood walkability. The aggregate impact of transportation users and developers is improved mobility, and most fundamentally, a more informed, resilient, and intelligent transportation system. The private sector has a vested interest as well. As we've heard, Google's General Transit Specification Feed standardizes transit data in a practical, usable way for municipal transit information services, enabling trip planning, traffic conditions, and other services. A few minutes ago, I called the effects of our wireless, data-driven society and economy on the transportation system as creating a kind of ad hoc network, an environment that is simultaneously disruptive, innovative, and in between. And at its core, a system, its users and operators becoming more and more dependent on data applications, and in turn, expecting public agencies and the commercial marketplace to reflect this trend. Now, I've talked a lot about balancing the public interest with the controlled chaos of innovation and technology. And really, this ideal can be described as a third way. The department's Intelligent Transportation Systems program, more specifically the Connected Vehicle Research, can harness this chaos and provide capabilities like BART's ETA initiative, but also it will go far beyond them. The core concept of a data-driven transportation environment where travelers, vehicles, and devices are interconnected can be leveraged to enable a compelling array of safety, mobility, and environmental benefits. Our Connected Vehicle program is working with public agencies, the automotive industry, technology companies, and leading academic institutions to develop a technology platform based on secure, wireless vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure communications. This platform harnesses a dedicated spectrum of wireless broadband to continually transmit vehicle and road condition data between vehicles, devices, and infrastructure. What this program envisions is a surface transportation and transit environment saturated with this secure, anonymous data, transmitting vehicle position, speed, and other crucial information between these transportation elements. Connected vehicle technology turns this data into actionable information, which enables safety applications, most significantly, cooperative collision warning systems that can help a driver or operator take measures to avoid an imminent collision. The potential for this technology to facilitate an unprecedented level of safety on our roads, transit systems, and highways is staggering. Currently, our connected vehicle program is focused on testing this safety application as well as mobility applications to establish a framework of implementation in our cities and communities. Furthermore, the technology platform of vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure communications has much broader implications for transportation, for users, managers, and developers. Our key programs exploring these concepts are our Dynamic Mobility Applications Initiative and ARIS, and that's a research initiative focused on environmental applications for connected vehicle data. The real-time data capabilities offered can support enhanced transportation operations and management by allowing managers to capture a dynamic picture of performance from traffic flows to multimodal connectivity. In turn, this information can direct congestion easing measures such as traffic signal prioritization. Now, how often have we sat, and particularly as motorcycles, we come to a light and we don't have enough metal to trigger the sensors in the roadway, but it's 2 in the morning and nobody's coming. I wish my friend on the Harley were here. He would certainly commiserate. But traffic signal prioritization is the kind of technology and the first phase benefits that drivers will see when their vehicles are connected. When they pull up to a light after a party at 2 in the morning and no one's coming in either direction and you have to wait a minute and a half for the light to change. It's those kinds of benefits where the lights will go on for people to say, oh, I get it. This stuff really works and it's really useful. But also for users, the same data can be developed by innovators in the public and private sector to create other applications, route planning, convenience, some of the environmental benefits about the most economic way to drive home or to other destinations. Caltrans travel and transit application, Path to Go, was developed using key DOT research and is helping San Francisco Bay Area residents plan more sustainable or convenient trips throughout the area via a web-based and smartphone application. And as we know, there's nothing more ubiquitous than the smartphones. So what is beautiful about the connected vehicle idea is that there is no constraint to the scale as long as the technology is safe, reliable, and effective. The platform can be integrated with tandem efforts to spur growth of the electric vehicle market and energy infrastructure. It is in the realm of possibility that the connected vehicle platform could link EV drivers to stations. The positioning, navigation, and timing data could help promote platooning, optimal speeds, and other innovative but practical approaches to increasing fuel efficiency and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. But you get the idea. The heart, brain, and soul of connected vehicles are the data produced, transmitted, and processed by them. Ultimately, expediting innovation and implementation demands standardization, quality assurance, and accessibility for the research and developer communities. We are working with stakeholders to collect and standardize data for developers, agency action, and the public. A critical component of this effort is a large-scale demonstration of this technology in Ann Arbor that's about to move to a second phase. And it's called our Connected Vehicle Safety Pilot. We're working on it in collaboration with Winfree, which is University of Michigan, as well as several auto manufacturers in an organization called CAMP. That's the Collision Avoidance Metrics Partnership. The safety pilot is the largest ever real-world test of motor vehicles equipped with state-of-the-art V2V, V2I technology, and it's a huge step in the transition from the research and development to implementation. We have nearly 3,000 cars, trucks, and buses circulating, and I'm pleased to announce as an enthusiast, motorcycles that feature a combination of OEM, aftermarket, and data gathering devices. The folks behind the wheel are average people going about their daily lives, and the data produced by their experiences as well as the performance of the devices simply cannot be duplicated. The light vehicle phase is coming to an end, and the second phase, as I mentioned, will study the applications in heavy trucks, transit vehicles, and roadway infrastructure. This is why the safety pilot's data is an essential component of the NHTSA decision coming at the end of 2013 on the role of vehicle-to-vehicle safety communications in the American vehicle fleet. So beyond the Connected Vehicle program, we need to continue to find new ways to partner or collaborate to spur further innovation when it comes to turning vehicle-related data into solutions for users. The need for a modern transportation system that supports a growing, changing economy, one that promotes trade, that safely and efficiently moves people and goods. It isn't owned by any one political constituency or interest group. Transportation's value to this country is truly a nonpartisan issue. So it's not up for debate whether the American people, our industries, our businesses deserve roads and bridges that are reliable and resilient, commercial airplanes that safely navigate the skies, railways and pipelines that keep the supply chain humming. We as a nation expect a system that doesn't stand in the way, but rather enables prosperity and protects our way of life. It's up to us, the folks positioned to make a difference, to make it happen. As everyone in this room knows, our leaders and decision makers may have different ideas of how to get it done, but no one disputes how fundamentally important it is that we find a way to get it done. Game-changing innovations like innovation and the federal interstate highway system allowed our nation to set the pace of progress rather than trail behind it. Our 20th century commitment to modernizing and expanding transportation across all modes fueled middle-class prosperity, created new industries, and ultimately transformed our cities and communities into thriving hubs. And it wouldn't have been possible without the people in government, industry, and academia who turned great ideas into new technologies and solutions through mission-critical research. At every level, from the federal government to municipal authorities, we have to make repairs, finish projects, and do what's necessary to keep the roads, rails, skies, and waterways operating as safely and reliably as possible, regardless of the obstacles standing in the way. Despite this new normal of budget priorities competing for scarce resources, we can't drop the ball. Not at USDOT, not at any agency or organization responsible for the safety and performance of our transportation system. There is simply no other option. Committing to an approach that optimally leverages research, technology, and data to address key transportation issues and guide public policy just makes sense. Today, innovations such as vehicle-to-vehicle infrastructure, GPS, and remote sensing can advance safety, improve performance, and create new financing mechanisms for transportation with fewer dollars and better results. Now, I know this kind of rhetoric sounds good and looks good on paper, but we all know the devil is in the details. So this is your moment to stake a place at the leading edge with pioneering communities that have brought key organizations and thought leaders together to harness the benefits of the most promising technologies. Whether you're charged with writing regulations that protect public safety while leaving the door open for free enterprise, or trying to develop a transformative for hire transportation application that creates new business while spurring new avenues for growth, you have a role in the future. We need you, the thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and practical reformers, to work together to pivot off the research and resources out there and be at the forefront of transformative innovation and thought processes, no matter what the scope, shape, or role. So thank you for your time, and thank you for the invitation to be with you.